Hey everyone, I'm Michael Seiger, publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics. Our sponsors include nichewebsites.com, a service that builds and ranks websites so you can focus on your business. Estabot.com, a domain name appraisal and productivity tool set that we use on this show to gather intelligence about all the domains we discuss. And DNX.com, a reverse auction domain name marketplace where buy it now prices decrease over time. All three sponsors have links in the upper right-hand corner of all pages on DomainSherpa.com. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are four past Sherpas and thought leaders. In order from left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of DNForum.com, nichewebsites.com, and publisher of theartofthename.com. Michael Berkens, publisher of thedomains.com, co-founder of Right of the Dot, and founder of mostwanteddomains.com marketplace. Paige Howe, founder and president of joedomains.com and domainoutlet.com, where he often has Sherpa specials after the show. And finally, last but not least, Rick Schwartz, the domain king and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Industry Conference. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's show.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
We have three sections on the show. We're going to start off with a portfolio of investor-submitted domain names to discuss in value. Then we're going to move into a marketplace list from namejet.com. And then we're going to wrap it up with our available or registered game and some topics for the after show. Two warnings before we get started. Be smart about what you buy. Go to Google, do a search for domain name due diligence. Educate yourself if you're new to the industry before you buy. Also, for transparency, I asked the Sherpas if they'll benefit from discussing any of the domains on today's show. Do you have any of the names in auction at NameJet that we're going to be discussing today, gentlemen?
Nope.
All right, we're going to move right into the first. Rick.
I do have a something going on possibly, I think, with cubiczirconiajewelry.com as far as some synergy with cubiczirconia.com, so I should put that on the table.
All right. So you don't have a name listed, but there is some synergy. There might be a deal, a co-purchase, something.
There's some working.
All right, good to know. All right, so it's out on the open. In the first section, the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners who wanted feedback on their portfolio. If you're watching this show on YouTube, click the link in the description below to see the list of domain names that we're discussing on today's show. This week, I selected two portfolios from two separate audience members that were submitted in the past. Thanks for your patience. The first portfolio is submitted by Albert Yemenian. It's listed in alphabetical order, beginning with artbargains.com and ending with workerscomplaw.com. Adam, let's start with you. What domains do you like on the list? If you can pick about 5 to 10, talk about why you like them and price them for retail value, that would be a great start.
That's a lot all at once there, Michael. All right. All right, let's look at them. I like Art Bargains. I think it's a decent name. A lot of people buy art, and art is very subjective. I mean, I can have something designed by your daughter, who's a fantastic artist, put it up there, and it could sell. So I like Art Bargains. Clone Anything is not bad because it's not specifically talked about human cloning, but we know there's a lot of cloning of products done overseas in Europe and China. And Clone Anything is a decent name. Don't know if it's legal, but it's a decent name.
Hey, Adam, before you move on to the next one, can you talk about retail prices for those two?
Yeah, I'll use our usual scale as we do. Art Bargains I'll put between 1 and 5. Mm-hmm. Clone Anything probably in the same area because I don't have anything specifically with it. I'm a little nervous about the jewelry terms, only because jewelry has about 4 different spellings. It's got the double L's, it's got ERY, it's got different spellings in the US than it does in Canada and the UK. So, and I own jewelry.net, and I've always had trouble dealing with that one. So it's interesting. Certainly fake jewelry, it's a decent one. I think you have it on the list twice, so I think you really like it. And then wedding jewelry is always popular, so I mean I think that's a good one. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple others. I mean, I think so. You want prices? Let's do the 1 to 5 on Art Bargains. 1 to 5 on clone anything. I could go with countrywide condos and put that at 1 to 5 right now as my third one. I'll stick with fake jewelry because I think it's okay, and people do buy a lot of cubic zirconia, as Rick has mentioned previously, and he's got cubic zirconia jewelry, so I'll round it out with that at 1 to 5, and the fake jewelry at 1 to 5, and I'll put wedding jewelry at 1 to 5 as well.
All right, and so am I to assume that those are the best names on the list, and everything else would probably be under $1,000 or no value?
Not really. It's just the ones that I would stand out with. I mean, maybe Mr. Berkens would like property litigation because it's his area of expertise, or was. I mean, everybody has different things they look for. I'm looking for places where I could sell products. So for me, the jewelry names seem to be the best ones on the list for me as far as that goes. Although ring sale isn't bad either.
Okay. Paige, let's go over to you. What do you think about the list? What are your 5 or 10 favorites?
Well, again, not knowing if it's his whole list, I like the fact that he has done some grouping so that if he gets an inquiry on one, maybe he's got a couple other names to go with. I like the ones, Adam, liked, I guess, cubic zirconia jewelry. The two that are more businessy, institutionally, maybe are FHA brokers and shopping center loans. So shopping center loans, not a consumer product. Maybe a product where you may, if you could have a site that does 10 shopping center loans a year, you'd be in great shape. So I think you'd actually want to, be in that business. Could you sell it to someone in that business? Again, you hope they come to you and they decide they really want it. But because the average transaction size is so big, it's definitely worth keeping, and you're hoping, but at least if you get in a conversation, you're in a high dollar atmosphere. So I kind of like that one. I didn't like the cloning ones. Clone anything. I don't know if you really want to clone anything, but I guess if we get to the point where it's a consumer product, then you can clone it. I didn't see a lot of brandability here. Most of them were keywords. If the countrywide ones were about countrywide mortgage, I'd probably stay away from them. And then the only other interesting thing was the diamond charm versus diamond charms. Do you want to sell a diamond charm, or do you want to have a store that sells a lot of diamond charms? I think in this case, I'd go diamond charms and have a store that sells a lot of them as opposed to having maybe one unique one. So I'd give that more value than the singular. So an okay list, most worth renewing except for maybe 5 or 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mike Berkens, what do you think about the list as compared to what Adam and Paige have said?
Wow, who's that? Maybe I know where that came from?
I didn't hear anything.
I heard
What did you hear?
Sorry. I heard music. I heard Creedence, actually.
I hear music sometimes too.
I had like a big Lebowski kind of moment. I heard Creedence. Art Bargains, I actually don't like the name. Art, if you're an art collector of any sort, you know that there's a lot of money to be made in art, but basically it's one of the things that you should, if you actually wanted to do that, you should spend as much as possible, because the stuff that, sells for a lot of money is stuff that sells for even more money later on. Mm-hmm. So if I'm buying art, I really don't want a bargain. I want like the masters or just stuff that's really valuable. Anyway, so not that thrilled about the art bargains. Somebody did mention the lawyer side of me and said you probably like property litigation. Actually, I don't like that name. It's really not it's sort of a made-up term, if you will. There really isn't like a class of law called property litigation. I think you have to be, of course, with really anything, but lawyer being very close to me. There are things that are actual categories, classes, practices of law, and there's things that aren't, and things that aren't just sort of made up, and those tend to be very hard to sell and somewhat, or towards the worthless side. The one I do like is workers' comp law, though, because there definitely is a workman's compensation law. It's a shortener for it. But still, I think, if you did like a Google search, you'd find a lot more results and ads under workers' comp law than you will under property litigation. But I haven't done it, but I think you will. So I kind of like workers' comp law from the legal side. Other than that, I do like to clone anything. I also like to clone dogs. Not to get too much hate mail, I really don't like to clone cats. I think there actually are people, if you search, that have cloned dogs before. And being a dog guy and not a cat guy, I just think it's something that if I think you actually, if you Google it, you'll see that people have actually gone ahead and spent, tens of thousands of dollars or more to have their dog cloned. I'm not sure that's happened with a cat, but of course it could. So I like that. The Countrywide condo one, it does remind me of Countrywide mortgages, so I would definitely steer clear of that. And then, then there's the jewelry ones again. The cubic zirconia jewelry is good. The fake jewelry, I just think that's hard. I just think that's a hard name to monetize, to sell. I don't know. It could be, in a way of, I had a relative who had really valuable pieces of jewelry, and then she got robbed once, and then she had all of her, her really good pieces, made with artificial stuff, just because she wanted to wear it out. So there's a market for it, but I'm not sure that's sort of like the best way to describe that type of sale. Other than that, I kind of like ring sale. I think that's just more brandable in the jewelry channel that I see here. Diamond charms is okay, but it's more descriptive than it is brandable. Other than that, that's really kind of all I.
Hey, Mike, how would you bucketize those prices if you were to sell them? Retail pricing for the ones you like, workers' comp law, ring sale, fake jewelry.
Workers' comp law, just because it is sort of a field of law, I think probably in the 20 to 25-ish area is probably where I'd like to be with that one. Ring sale, I also like it because, there is going to be a .sale. I don't know how many people out there, domainers, are looking at domains that have GTLD, implications. If you think like the whole GTLD thing is going to be a bunch of confusion and typos, then, there definitely will be confusion and typos. A name like ringsale.com potentially could, actually have a lot more traffic than it does today, 2 years from now, when there, is a .sale, for example. As opposed to say clone anything, because there's not a .anything, although that's what it's referred to a lot. So I think I think a ring sale is something I personally would hold on to until there is a .sale, and that potentially can be worth more. And wedding jewelry, I think, is probably sort of the best, bang on name in the list.
What would you price that one at? Wedding jewelry.
Wedding jewelry, I don't know. I haven't looked really at it. It just strikes me as something that would be like 50,000 plus, kind of a name, to a jeweler. I think that would be okay.
Rick Schwartz, what do you think of the list?
Well, I more or less kind of like it because you can kind of see a rhyme and a reason, and you can kind of get into his mind, and you see what he's doing and what he's looking for and what he's trying to do, and so down the list. Okay, so I disagree with Berkens over there. I like art bargains. I not everyone looking for a masterpiece, and sometimes you're looking for a bargain. And again, at least when I look at the domain name, there's no question what I'm going to get when I go there. I'm not scratching my head. It's simple and it's memorable and it's easy to spell, so it means something. My kind of domain name, because again, a guy can take a domain like that and make a living with it, and that is my number one bar for a domain name. Can I make if that was the only thing I had in life? Could I make a living with it? May not be the best living. It's not the best domain in the world, but guess what? Yeah, I could probably eke out a living. So that's why I like that one. I like the clone ones. I think they're good. I think cloning could become big in the future. We don't know where it's going. So, it isn't anything where it's a today thing, really, a little bit, but in the future, I don't know. So I do like those. Condo Master, I guess it could be a brandable or a product or something. So, again, depending what you do with it, it could be something. If you have an idea, again, it comes with an idea. I don't like the countrywide ones at all because I think it's confusion with the loan. It could be a trademark problem. Cubic zirconia jewelry, I won't really comment on. Diamond charm could be an adult club, and diamond charms can be the jewelry store. The problem is really not really a thing, diamond charms. I mean, no one really ever went into a store and said, I'm looking for some diamond charms, so I don't really think it's a product. Mm-hmm. So fake jewelry, I don't know. There is when I went to Turkey a few years ago, there's a chain of stores there called Genuine Fakes, and they're all over the country. So, I mean, fake jewelry, again, at least you know what you're getting when you go there. So if someone knows what they're doing in that marketplace, they can do well. Foreclosure the others are okay, nothing great. Wedding jewelry is good, and like Berkens said with ring sales, see that that's where the real opportunity is, guys, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen because first the extensions still have to get traffic before it goes to the .com, so it's still a long roundabout way. It doesn't like they open up the door and wow, you get all this traffic. That ain't going to happen, but in time, if something, that's what could be. But again, the list in general, at least I feel the guy's on the right track because he has some domains that are meaningful. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be exactly opposite of what I'm going to say on the next list.
All right. So let me start from left to right, Adam to Rick. Pick one domain name that you would drop if you own this list. Name one domain name you would drop. Adam, which one would you drop? Which one do you think has the least value that you probably wouldn't hold on to?
Just looking at the list now.
Yep.
I'd drop, Countrywide School without the LS.
Yeah, that could have been a double with a typo on one. I'm not really sure. But, all right,
if I have to pick another one, I'll go with Condo Master.
Condo Master. All right, Mike Berkens, which one would you drop if you own this list?
I'll pick something different. I'll go completely opposite the page and go with shopping center loans. I mean, I could see shopping center mortgages, but I don't really get the loan thing, so I'll go with that.
Okay. Paige Howe, what do you think? Which one would you drop?
Condo Master. I'll go Lender.
Lender.com. All right. And Rick Schwartz, which one would you drop?
Property litigation, maybe. It's so tiny. I mean, I understand that, but it's kind of like when we get down to the shopping center loans. Even though there could be those guys, the point is anyone that's buying a shopping center probably has a banker. Mm-hmm. They probably have relationships with people. It probably isn't the type of thing that they're going to go search for. So that's the only reason. It isn't that I don't like it.
Yep.
It's just I don't think there's a market for it.
Yep. All right. Good input. In terms of trademarks or legal issues that Albert needs to be aware of, it sounds like the Countrywide series with potential confusion to Countrywide home loans might be the only issue. Any other potential issues you guys notice on the list? Good. Relatively clean list. Albert Yemenian, I hope that was useful to you. We're going to move on to the next list. The second portfolio was submitted by Chris Top. It's listed in alphabetical order, beginning with the domain twoworddomain.com and ending with one that I have trouble pronouncing, yazoosequing.com. Mike Berkens, let's start with you this time. On this list, do you have 5 domains or so that you like, why you like them, and how you might price them for a retail sale? Mike, you're still on mute. Mike, you're still on mute.
Okay, now I'm not on mute. All right. If you want to be picky, you want sound too, huh? Jeez. Yeah, there's a few names that are, so the names I like, so the best off the list, Find Fast Money. It's sort of a call to action. It's okay. But I say, yeah, I would say that's one.
How would you price that one, Mike? Findfastmoney.com.
I mean, I could, I definitely see you could price it between 5 and 10 grand. I don't know if it'll sell, but you can certainly make an argument.
What if it was fastmoney.com? Would the pricing go up by a magnitude?
Yes.
By a factor? Would it be
Yes.
20 grand, 50 grand?
Oh, definitely over 50 grand.
Okay.
Maybe over 100 grand. I mean, I'd have to ponder it for a moment, but I think Fast Money definitely probably is a six-figure name.
All right. Find Fast Money you'd put in the 1 to 5 range. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, let's see. Not knowing what the Yangtze thing is, which probably is maybe the best thing on the list. Don't know. How about making a model? I mean, people are into model cars and model trains and model stuff. So I guess making a model is something that could be something. I mean, mobile data usage is something, but I'm not sure how you build a site around it or what you exactly would do with it or why a cell phone company would want it. But maybe, track your data usage, although you can do that on your phone if you're not on an unlimited data plan. Is somebody else going, or am I still going?
If that's all you want to talk about, that's good with me, Mike.
Yeah, I probably can leave it at that.
All right.
All right. Well, maybe fish odor. I mean, that's,
fishyodor.com.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't get that years ago, personally.
All right, Rick Schwartz, you had mentioned that you had some thoughts about this portfolio. Let's go over to you.
Okay, so Chris isn't going to like me after this.
I think he's going to love me either, by the way.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's exactly the opposite of the first portfolio because I don't see a rhyme or reason anywhere on the list. I can't say I like anything on the list. The only one that I even put a check for, it's just so limited, and most of them don't mean anything. They're a bunch of words, and I think odor is spelled wrong, but that's beside the point. Chinese cooking classes, because at least you know what it is. Of course, it's a little tiny market. No, maybe it isn't. I don't know. It depends how big the market is. Okay? So that's how you measure the value of the domain. So if millions of people are looking for Chinese cooking classes, you're in the money. Okay? If 10 people are looking for it, you're screwed. So
but Rick, regardless of whether, and I don't know what the search volume is, I don't have the Estibot list in front of me to talk about search volume, but if it was ChineseCooking.com or CookingClasses.com, would either of those be much better domain names than ChineseCookingClasses.com?
Oh, yeah, well, Cooking Classes would be a great domain name. Okay, let's start there. That would be a very good domain name. Okay, ChineseCooking.com, yeah, not as much, but Cooking Classes, yes. And even Chinese cooking classes, it's good. It's targeted. It's exact. It's a good domain name. It's the best one he has on the list. And the other ones, Chris, they're all pigeon shit, honest. I mean, I don't know how I can justify picking any of them. Tworddomain.com, three-letter domain. I mean, there's only 500 domainers, for Christ's sakes. I mean, how small a pond do you want to... I mean, it's just too small a pond. Yeah, I know you can resell it. Just... I don't get it. I couldn't make a living on these. The only single one on the list I could possibly make a living on is Chinese cooking classes. I couldn't do anything with any of the rest. I would tell them to drop them all and start again. That's what I would tell them to do.
All right, Rick, if I had to one second, if I had to recommend something to Chris based on feedback that you've all given in the past, if on this list, if he hasn't received any offers, if he's not making any parking revenue, unless it's a topic that's near and dear to his heart, like he wants to open up Chinese cooking classes and he's an expert in that, the next time it comes up for renewal, you would let them expire? Is that good advice?
Yeah.
Or have an action plan to get out of them.
There's no rhyme or reason. You got to understand, I'm looking at a portfolio that means nothing. There's not, I mean, together they don't go. I don't know where his mind was at to find any of these. I mean, honest, Chinese cooking classes aside, because it means something. There's not one else. See, that belongs on the first list. Okay, that's Albert's type of thing. Okay, because that's what he goes for. Stuff that, and that's why I don't mind if it has 2 words, 3 words. It doesn't matter. as long as someone knows what they're going to see when they get there.
Mike Berkens, you were going to say something when I cut you off by?
Yeah, I was just going to make trouble. You don't like Find Fast Money, Rick, at all? The Find Fast Money?
It's too many words. It's just, I don't know. I mean, you really got to stretch. Maybe. I mean, maybe. Fast money sounds better. I mean, find fast money. How about find money? I mean, there's too many variables. It's just, again, if he has an idea and he wants to use that as the website, okay, but it still isn't the best he can do, because I bet you for the cost of these renewals, I can go and find a better domain name than that one to launch my lifelong business, and that's the point. So, I don't know, what did they have, like 50 domain names? So, that's $500, and I always multiply everything by 10 years. Forget about how much it is a year. That's crap, really. Multiply it by 10 years, because then it's not $500, it's $5,000. And the reason I say that is because you can still finance with people. You can elongate how much, so if you only have $1,500 and there's a $5,000 domain name out there, you can still finance it over a couple of years. So instead of wasting your money on this, go buy one domain name and finance it. It's not even close. I got to digress for one moment. So yesterday, my mom died. Everyone knows my mom died last month. So yesterday, the guy comes in to take all the contents of my mom's apartment, okay? We have to, obviously, we went through the things. We have to dispose of it. And he's going through everything. And, man, my mom had a lot of shit. You wouldn't believe how much shit she bought. I mean, but she never bought good quality. She spent the money, okay? The point is, she spent a lot of money, but she bought garbage all of her life, and it wasn't really worth anything. If she had 200 purses, they weren't worth what one designer bag would have been worth. One designer bag would have been worth 100 times what the 200 other bags were. One stamped anything would have been worth 1,000 times what everything. It was all junk. I felt really bad. A whole life, and all she did, because she couldn't get her head around just getting quality. I mean, it was sad to see, and that's what this list represents to me. It's just a pile of garbage. It's a $5,000 of renewals. What are you wasting your money on this garbage? Go buy a domain name for $5,000. Go buy 5 ones for $1,000. Go buy 10 for $500. You can be in business. You have the money, but this isn't the way to do it. End of story. I'll get off my
and I think that's a paradigm shift for a lot of investors who feel like, if I want to be like Mike Berkens, who has 80,000 domains, I need more than like 10 domains. Whereas what you're saying is that if you have 5 or 10 domains that are high quality, high value, pay less per year, hold on to them longer, sell them for a higher amount, sell few.
The number one of the top domainers in the world, Mike probably will know his name, has 12 domain names. They're probably the best domain names. I think it's hobbies.com. I had lunch with him a few years ago in South Beach. I forgot his name. Someone on the panel. He has 12 domain names. He has built multi-million-dollar businesses from his 12 domain names. He's a top domainer.
All right, I need to get him on the show. I'm going to go look up who is on hobbies.com.
Yeah, Chad, well, no, Chad, God, when it comes to names, I just...
Chad Folkening?
Yeah, Chad Folkening.
It is Chad, okay.
Chad has more than 12 names.
12?
No, it wasn't Chad. He was who
Chad.
Brought us all to lunch.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Paige, you were mentioning you got to have an action plan. So don't just wait for domains to, see if you can make up the registration costs and parking, or if you get any offers, or if you just are in love with the domain name. You need an action plan. What did you mean by an action plan? What kind of advice would you offer, Chris, on this portfolio?
Well, I think we talked about this a couple of shows back. Do you just let them go and start over, or do you sit there and say each one of these names has so many days before expiration, and either you should be able to make something happen or not? but the idea that, well, it didn't really sell this year, but maybe it'll sell next year, I think what Rick was sharing, really makes a lot of sense. So what can you do? So you say, okay, does someone have the other TLDs of these names? And you're hoping, you're dreaming, you're just hoping someone's got the org and he wants to come. No one's ever going to move down, but maybe they'll move up. Maybe you check the other TLDs. Maybe you say, okay, is someone, advertising for this stuff? Search it in quotes on Facebook. Search it in quotes. Does someone have the Twitter handle? So, and if you can get somehow $200 to $1,000 out of this thing before they go, then you've got your money to maybe go buy something else. But I think Rick's point about multiplying it times 10 makes a lot of sense. Or just add $500 every time you buy a name and say, there's an opportunity cost to having a name in my company that's $500. You know what I mean? Because the biggest rationalization that I fall into and everyone falls into is, well, heck, I'll make more than $8 on this, so it's not, it's worth it to hand reg it or something like that, or it's worth it to put in the name jet bid or something like that, because heck, even on a bad day, I can get someone to give me $69. And it's just hard when you have 50 or 100 or 1,000 or something like that to then sit there and say, hey, man, instead of having 1,000 names, would I take $70,000 to start over? And a lot of people would. So your only chance to not buy a name is before you buy it. So if you looked at this whole list, what Rick is saying is, if he looked at this whole list and this was today's drop list, he'd go, nothing to do, and he'd head out for the day, and he wouldn't have, lost any money or something like that. But when you're already in them, you don't have that option. So anyway, I guess I agree with Rick and just trying to give some flavor on that.
All right. Adam, I'm sorry, Rick, before Adam gets the last word on the portfolio.
I just wanted to say one thing about, you asked me a question about the Chinese cooking classes and would cooking, and I said cooking classes would be a great domain name. And the reason is you can subdomain it. Mm-hmm. You can have Chinese.cooking classes. You can have Italian.cooking classes. You can go right down the list. And again, I really believe the future of the internet goes this way, not that way. And that's what the GTLDs are going to prove or disprove, is whether we go wide or whether we go tall.
All right. Adam, final thoughts on this portfolio. Anything you particularly liked? Anything that you'd like to add on top of what the other Sherpas have suggested on how to handle this portfolio?
Surprisingly enough, I'm not going to be as brutal as my counterparts. I can actually find some good in this list. Good. I can't find great, but I can find good. I mean, so let's go through it a little bit.
Okay.
Bill Credit Card, I think, would be a decent name for a credit card processor. It's brandable. It's something. I like Children's Medical Services the best on this list, because I did a couple of Google searches while those guys were talking. And in Canada, we call it Children's Medical Services. In Georgia and Maryland, I found all kinds of government websites that called it Children's Medical Services. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously parents look for a lot of things. You're looking at 127 million links in Google for that. So I like Children's Medical Services. Chinese cooking classes, like Rick said, it's a good name. A name that I found, because I do that and these guys don't, is deletenegativereviews.com. It's a reputation repair domain name. It's also got some value on it. I'd put that one at 1 to 5. I think FemLift has some brandability. I guess it would be for breast lifts. It has some brandability. It's not a horrible name. Somebody picked Fish Odor. Odor is spelt wrong, so that would be, that odor, O-D-E-R, is a river in the Baltic Sea. It's not actually a smell. Glamour Girl Magazine could have some trademark issues with Glamour Magazine. Making a model, I thought of it, I think Mr. Berkens thought of it as people like models. I was thinking about it, if you grab a girl on the street and she's interested in being a model, you can make a model out of her, and that's not a bad slogan for a modeling company. Mobile data usage. I don't think that one's so horrible, because I think if there's any way in the future you can put out a third-party tracking company to see if your phone company is charging you the right amount of money for what you're actually using and compare them. Offer expires soon and offers received. They could be short sale sites. I'm not thrilled with them, but I don't see as them horrible. Proceed to cart could be a shopping cart checkout. I could easily see that. And that's pretty much all I can find. So it's not a great list. That's obvious. I did put down something here like register. Where was it? One of the things I thought, Register Magazine would be a good name for the new GTLDs as a kind of a humorous look at GTLDs.
Hey,
Rick would think it's an empty magazine, but what the hell?
What kind of pricing would you put on these? Like these brandables, like proceedtocart.com or offers received, offers expire soon.com, makingamodel.com.
I know nobody agrees with me, but I can see some value in them. I put them at like minimum 1. I mean, somebody can buy them. Again, with brandable names, a lot of it has to do with the buyer and the buyer. So I've got some brandables I've liked for a long time, but nobody seems interested in them, like my 3pawdogsalon.com. Nobody wants to take their dog to a dog salon that has 3 paws. Or my other favorite is Naughty Kids Daycare. I mean, nobody wants to bring their kid in and say they're a naughty kid, but they're still brandable and people would remember them. That's my 2 cents.
All right, so you would put a price on it, put a low price, $1,000, $1,500, because he probably hand registered these, get it priced on all the marketplaces and see what kind of offers he gets in.
Yeah, I mean, even if he gets a few $100, it's more than what he paid for it. And then Rick said it cost him $5,000 to renew these names. I think Rick's registration fees are a little high because there's only 50 names on this list. It'd be $500.
Well, but he's saying when he registers a domain, go ahead, Rick. I'll let you say it.
The way I look at it is I always multiply it by 10 years because that's what I figure I may have to keep it for. And so each domain is times 10 years. So 500 turns into 5,000.
Well, this guy ain't keeping these for 10 years.
Well, but it's hard. Once you pay that first year, you start paying the other ones because you're like, well, all I have to do is pay $8 and I'll have a whole other year for something good to happen, you know? And it's tempting.
I have a list, Mr. Seiger, for the after show of about 7 or 8 things that you should look at to decide if you want to renew or drop a domain name.
All right.
Hey, Mike Seiger, I didn't dislike every name on the list.
Stop.
Not everyone. Name 3 you
like.
like.
The Children Medical Service didn't have an S.
Right,
so
it's Children
Medical Services. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just hard when you get in the middle of those and there's children's medical, children medicals, and all that stuff, and so you have to be particular. And then the only other one I thought, like, you know, in Adam's category of not completely worthless was maybe the try it and buy it, just because, you know, it kind of rhymes. There's kind of a little play on words there, and for those without dating myself, try it, you'll like it, kind of comes back to me. But
lots of companies have try it and buy it. So even especially online. I mean, I'm on a couple of software trials now, and if I like them, I'll obviously subscribe.
Yeah, so I thought that was one that had some merit.
All right, Chris, we hope that was useful for you. Next week, we're back to a theme. Submit 1 domain name in the health and beauty category using the link at the top of this page. Please, only 1 domain. Properly capitalize the words, so if it's health and beauty, capitalize the H, the A, and the B.com so that we can see all the words more clearly. If it's a TLD other than .com, it needs to be a single word. So it needs to be health.biz or beauty.info. And submit it by the end of the day. Actually, we're taping a day early next week, so submit it by noon on December 9th. Noon Pacific on December 9th. All right, we're going to move on to the marketplace list. This section is sponsored by NameJet, and we'll be reviewing 25 .com domain names with at least 76 bids on each, many of which are submitted by users at auction. You too can have your premium domain listed at NameJet for auction. Submit your domains using the customer support form on their website with your name, domain names, and the reserve prices. The links below are to domain names directly at NameJet, so you don't have to go searching for them. And, you know, sometimes I go to NameJet and I mean to search for a domain name and I accidentally put in a minimum bid on a domain even though I don't want it. So the links below take you directly to the page. None of the links are commission links. They're just trackable so NameJet can see the traffic we're sending them. Rick, let's start with you. What domains do you like on this list?
Well, first of all, that's a list. That's a fantastic list. I mean, more than half of them are really nice domains, and I can spend a lot of time on each. So Food Guide, for example, And it gets back to the subdomaining, and every domain I buy, or most of them, I test with subdomains. Food Guide, my God, there's so many different ways to subdomain this out. You have geo, you can go New York dot, you can go Las Vegas dot, you can go anywhere in the world, countries, cities, towns, streets, whatever. Food Guide, that's number one.
Hey,
That's
Rick, let
before
me interrupt for just 1 second, because you just made me think of a great way. You know, for anybody that's new to the industry that wants to understand what good domains are, and they love watching the show, and I receive a lot of email from readers saying, and they post a comment saying, oh, I love getting into the heads of all the successful investors like yourselves. Go to NameJet. This is the power of the group, the power of the masses in selecting domain names. So Food Guide had the most bids on it. So if you want to see what other people think are good domain names, likely you're going to find the power of the masses voting by putting in minimum bids on the domain name. So go to NameJet, click search, click .com, click no dashes, exclude numbers if you want to exclude them. And I think I selected all domain types. So it shows auction, pending delete, pre-release. And this is exactly where I got that list from. So, you know, back to you, Rick, but it just allows people to see what the power of the masses are selecting.
Mike, did they pay extra for that promo? Because it was good.
They did not. Like, I'm just going the way. Thank you. I'm just going the way that I've found good names at NameJet in the past. And, you know, I put bids in on a lot of these domains also, not because I want to buy them, but just because I want to see what they actually sell at. And at NameJet, you can't see the final sales price unless you're have a minimum bid on the auction, or you go to, you know, one of the sites that summarizes sales from the previous day. Rick, back to you. Sorry about that.
No problem. So, and then we get back to the last one with the Chinese, whatever. So you have Chinese Food Guide, Italian.Food Guide, all the way down there. I love that type of domain name. I know I can take this domain name, and for the rest of my life, I can be busy. Fantastic domain name. Okay. Modifications, not quite as good because you can't put as many words in front of modifications to subdomain it, which brings me to, I think, what comes out with .build today. They got it upside down. It's build this, build that. The only thing I can figure for .build is I build, we build, they build. I mean, it's very limited. Anyway, I got off the track. LIU, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's a common Chinese name. So other than that, I wouldn't use it to do anything with, because it's just horrible if you want to try to spell it places. You can get the confusion factor is off the chart. Custom cars, fantastic. Not as good as Food Guide because, again, custom cars is great by itself. Can you subdomain it out a little bit? You couldn't make a living doing it. The next one that I like, online tax software is okay. I like My Auction. That's very good. I think that's a way to get people involved in their own auction, My Auction. So I like that. Very brandable. Again, not as good as Food Guide. That's terrific. Ching, that could be a brandable. Bowo, you know, same thing. Woodshop, it is what it is. I mean, they're just, you know, board.com, you know, that could be a site for a movie critic maybe or something like that. So that's plenty brandable, and you can do something with board.com. Country Store, self-explanatory. Brand Nation, I think that's a nice domain name. I mean, if you're into brands and this is what you do for a living, you know, is bring brands to people, Brand Nation sounds like a nice one. Septic Tank, I mean, another good one. It may not be quite, and it probably can be subdomained out because, again, the septic tank is a very local. You're calling your local plumber.
Right.
And that's it. Look, Food Guide, what a domain. I can't get back over that because that you could spend a lifetime on.
Yeah. So right now, you know, this one doesn't close for auction until 12/16, so you can still get a bid in on it. The current high bid is $4,600. Rick, what would you, as a domain investor, bid as a high amount on this domain?
Well, I'd have no problem saying $10,000 as a domain investor because, again, that meets my criteria because an end user can easily pay $100,000 for it or more. So I would have no problem paying 10 grand, 15 grand, maybe even a little bit more. I like the domain name.
An end user would easily pay $100,000. What kind of end user were you thinking would easily pay $100,000 for a domain like Food Guide?
Well, again, anyone that decides I need to make a living and they have to choose a domain name, and you know what? Go open up a store in the real world, and by the time you open up a store in the real world and you have a 100 grand domain name, guess what? I'll go with the Food Guide for 100 grand, Alex.
All right. Paige, you are muted, Paige, but I want to hear what you're saying.
Hey, Rick, his name's Mike, not Alex.
It's Alex now.
Paige, all right, let's go to you, Paige.
No, I just see how the fits so nice with the Food Guide.
I wonder who owns thefoodguide.com, because I'd rather have that
don't
domain.
actually.
Oh, you don't have it?
What's that? I don't.
You don't? Oh, okay.
That's the type of thing that
But
we
you
would.
can't subdomain it. You can't subdomain it. That's the difference. See?
Oh, subdomains, Rick, that's the flavor of the week. You know,
No, listen. Wait a
month.
second. Excuse me. I've been talking about subdomains from day one, and just because, okay, hey, you can take it or leave it. I like subdomains.
No, I think it's great, and it's definitely a component of value. But okay, so I like custom cars, but I wouldn't want to. You know, I'd like it depending on the price for. You know, I wouldn't want to pay 20 grand for it. I mean, but I liked it as a domain name. I thought Ching was a great name. It's not Cha-Ching, so you say, well, you have to put a Ching before it, but you know, it's kind of a cash register sound, for lack of a better word. It's kind of a stretch, so you'd want to get it for a good value, but I thought it had some pop. The BOWO, BOGO, is buy one, get one, so you'd have to come up with buy one, win one, or buy one, want one, or something, but you know, it's got some thing there. I like discounthosting.com. I think discount is a prefix, has been used by a lot of companies to do a lot of things. I think Mike Berkens' comment earlier that you don't want discount art, but you would want to get a discount on your hosting. I think it seems to fit with it better. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was almost my number one on the list. And then I do like Septic Tank just because it doesn't have a lot of substitutes for that business, whether it's putting one in. I never even knew what they were when I lived in the city in L.A., but now that I live in Tennessee, I'm up to speed on what these things are. And so I think the singular is fine. And so that was probably my custom cars, Septic Tank, discount hosting, and maybe Country Store would be fun too.
Yeah, I've got a septic tank, and I would not want to try and sell advertising or a directory listing to local septic tank installers.
Yeah, but you got to admit, it isn't something you do yourself.
It is not.
You might do your own oil change. You might clean your own windows. You might fix your own electrical. You're calling the septic tank guy, okay?
That is true. Mike Berkens, let's go over to you. What do you like on this NameJet list? You're muted still, Mike.
I have to be muted. I saw. I actually,
say it again.
you know,
Start from the beginning, Mike.
Yeah.
You're coming off your mic.
Sorry. So not to be too repetitive, obviously I do like Food Guide as well, but I won't go through the whole thing again as Rick did. I do like My Auction, another, as Rick said, highly brandable sort of name that could be used, by a plethora of companies. I do like that. I agree with Paige, actually. The best name on the list is Discount Hosting. There's a lot of activity in the hosting space. I don't know if people are paying attention or not, but there's a bunch of sort of big hosting companies that are rolling up. Others, Endurance, went public not very long ago, which is a big hosting company, is also a big domain company now. It's a registrar company. So I think Discount Hosting is probably the best name on the list. The other names I like are Brand Nation, along with Rick. I have some good names that end in Nation. I've got, we have Football Nation that's been being leased out for the last few years. That's a big site now. You can go check it out. And I see, there's Sports Nation on ESPN. I mean, it's sort of one of those words that's definitely picked up in pop culture, and there's a lot of, again, TV shows and other references around, to things ending in Nation. There's Gator Nation, of course. Also very, highly in the sports category, but still, I think it gives you a sense of community, and I think it's a good name. Septic tank is a bang-on, product. Obviously, in the city, Florida, we don't use it, but in our North Carolina house, we do have one. And the one that nobody has mentioned so far, that I'll mention, because I think it's also kind of a very brandable name that I like, is kitchendoor.com. I think it's just a nice name for any sort of, it could be, it could be a food, it could be a Whole Foods, it could be, something to do with households or food or items or cooking. I think it's pretty versatile, pretty brandable. I like that name.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I was looking at that as a product or service. I'm like, why would anybody want Kitchen Door? Why are there so many bids on it? But yeah, it's a good brandable. Adam, let's go to you. What do you think about the list?
Well, Alex, I'll take Food Guide for 500.
I would take it for 500 too.
No, I agree with what everybody has said pretty much today, which is nice. I like Food Guide. I have to start thinking a little bit more like Rick with some subdomains because it does add value to the name. So I think that's a good one. But I tend to agree. My favorite is Discount Hosting because there's so many hosting companies and they pay a fortune for CPC ads and things like that. So you could build a great hosting site there even if you just showed a review site of all the hosting companies with affiliate links. So I like that one. Custom Cars is okay too. The three-letter.coms I always like. And then I'm big into animal names like boar.com because I sold elephant and pig and a couple others for very good money. Septic tank I also feel is good. And kitchen door, a lot of people have kitchen doors that lead outside. So I think it's good. It could even be a cute name for a restaurant. Come to the kitchen door. So, I mean, and I like Brand Nation because everyone has like Leafs Nation and as Mike threw in his Gator Nation because he had to. A country store isn't bad either if you're going to build something and sell country-related things like boots or something like that. Or, I mean, so I think it's pretty good, but I'll stick with Discount Hosting and Food Guide as my two best on the list.
I don't understand why modifications.com has so many bids and it's up to over $2,000. I don't get it. What is modifications.com?
Well, don't forget, a lot of these are pre-release. Like Food Guide has 12 days left and it's only in pre-release, so they haven't really committed to bid here. Mm-hmm. They've just committed to be in the bidding. Mm-hmm. So it's got it probably just because it's a dictionary word. Modifications, car engines get a lot of modifications to be souped up with chips, and there's a lot of other
modifications. Loan modifications.
Loan modifications, huh?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other. So we could do loan dot modifications for Rick. We could do car dot modifications. And if we go back to that other one that was over there, we could do femlift dot modifications.com. So there you go.
All right, Sherpas. We're now entering the lightning round. First up, registered or available. I named 3 domain names without looking them up. You tell me if you think they're registered or available. Last week, Adam he provided the template for us, and now all you Sherpas will hold up a page which says...
I don't even know where it is.
Oh, Adam. Mike, do you have one?
I have one.
Okay. The Paige has his on a stick.
Buggers.
Register. Okay, so now I don't have to go one by one. I'm going to say the domain name.
I'm going old-fashioned.
And then you're not going to be influenced by whether Rick says it's available or not.
Hold on, I'm making up.
Come on.
Hold
now
on.
you're taking my only strategy.
I'm making up my Post-it notes. 1 sec.
Foul. You're taking my only strategy to win
So
away.
this is going to be all reveal,
All right, we'll
Mike?
try it. We'll see how it goes, Rick. We'll try it this
all
week.
reveal.
All right, you guys remember who the reigning winner is?
I wasn't here last week.
That's right, baby. It's Paige Howe. And filling in for you, Mike, was Drew Rosener. He went 0 for 3. It was a pretty poor showing.
Wow.
I know.
So he won't be back for a while.
All right. Are you ready, Adam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This week's domain. Here's the first domain. This week's Domain Sherpa show was with David Fairley discussing fundamentals of selling a revenue-generating website, including how that revenue can add value on top of a premium domain name. So I wondered, is increasewebsitevalue.com registered or available? Hold it up, gentlemen.
This is new technology for me. I'm not sure.
I know. Okay, so Rick is saying registered. Did I say reserved? Did I send you that template? It's supposed to be registered. I
Yeah,
screwed
what's
up.
up with that?
I don't know. Paige said available. Mike says registered.
Well, no, I have both.
You have both. Are you going to commit to one, Mike?
It's new technology for me. I'm trying to still...
Hold it down and hold it over. Hold it up.
He's got new TLDs on the brain.
I'm sorry. It was hard. It was
All
complicated.
right, Mike is saying available, and I can't read yours.
So keep it up.
And
Taken.
Adam is saying taken.
Taken.
All right. So, it is available. So right now, Paige is in the lead, baby.
Yo.
Whoa, Mike. Yeah, Paige is in the lead with
yo.
Mike. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
All right. This is new technology for me, too. Okay,
Yes,
next up.
it's not easy.
Mike Berkens' blog, thedomains.com, just celebrated its 6,000th post on its 6th birthday. Happy birthday, Mike.
Thank you, I think.
I think. So I wondered, is websitebirthday.com registered or available? Websitebirthday.com. Hold it up, gentlemen. Rick is saying registered. Paige is saying registered. Mike Berkens is saying available. And Adam is saying registered. And Mike Berkens is in the lead. It is available.
Wow.
I know.
Mine's
Website
upside-
birthday. A good 2-word domain.
Mine's upside down, I think.
No, you're
That's a
right side up.
surprise.
All
I'm
right.
telling you, it's new technology.
All right, here's the last name of the domain and last domain of the day. Mike Berkens is in the lead. As winter sets in and the days grow shorter, this California boy needs all the sunshine he can get during the day. So I wondered, is sunshinepill.com registered or available? Sunshinepill.com.
I don't know, but I sure want to do one.
I'm not saying.
All right, hold it up.
I'll be sure.
All right,
I'll be
Rick
sure.
is saying available. Paige is saying available. Mike Berkens is saying reserved. And Adam is saying registered. And we have a winner. Mike Berkens goes 3 for 3 today. It is registered. Congratulations, Mike. Boy,
Thank you,
Drew
thank
comes
you.
in last week.
Theo,
Drew comes in, goes 0 for 3 in your spot. But then you come back, and it's a sound thrashing. Nice work.
Thank you.
All right, after show topics. I've got a couple of questions from users. Adam has also mentioned he's got 7 to 8 things that can help somebody determine whether they should renew or drop a domain name. We'll discuss those. Any other topics that you guys want to discuss?
Yeah.
What else, Adam?
Yeah. I want to discuss some positives of domains with dashes. I'm always ripping on them. I'm going to give you some positives.
All right.
I'll tease with I registered my first new GTLD.
What? You registered your first new GTLD?
I did. I registered 3 actually, so you can hang on and see what
All right.
those were.
We'll find out what Mike Berkens just registered. Anything else?
I researched registering a lot of new GTLDs, and it helped me find existing domain names I wanted to buy. So there's my...
All right, Rick, any things that you want to talk about in the after show?
No, I'll just screw up with everybody else.
That sounds good. All right, new registrations for Paige.
Hey,
We'll talk
Mike.
about that. All right, 30 seconds to talk about anything that you want to promote. Adam.
Okay, I am heading to California on next Wednesday. I'm there till Monday. I'm doing a couple open seminars with large groups of people with Troy Rushton on his site, and we're going to be teaching people how to buy, sell, and broker domain names.
Excellent. And so is that something that if people are down in the LA area, they can come watch you or pay for the course?
Yeah, I'll post a link. I'll give you a link later that we can add to the video.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Mike Berkens, anything you want to promote?
I'll promote Adam's thing if there's an affiliate, the link available. Or
Yes, there will be for you.
All right, there you go. I second Adams with my code.
Very
you can
cool.
add the code in later.
All right,
He
Paige
can
Howe.
put his coat on.
What's going on over at Domain Outlet Paige Howe?
Well, the old TLDs are the new TLDs. So we like .tv. We've taken some of our .tvs from our regular store and put them on the outlet. So if you feel like you need a new TLD, we can't imagine a better one than .tv. So come on by and you can buy them now.
And you got some deals there? Am I going to find some specials?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Rick, anything you want to promote?
Nah, I got nothing to sell right now.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, Adam.
Sorry, can I just add that we're going to be in Dana Point. It's about 45 minutes from LA, and the website is called Name Brokers. I tripped up on it when I was talking. It's actually, you can go to namebrokers.com or .net, and you'll see information about what we're going to talk about.
All right,
Is that
namebrokers.com.
45 minutes south of .LA?
It's a two-day seminar.
What was the
All right.
affiliate code on that one, Alan?
I'm going to send it over. Don't worry.
All right, and my promotion is dnseattle.com, the meetup that is happening January 30th. We have a location reserved. We will be socializing, drinking, having appetizers, and listening to a short speaker at the top of the Space Needle.
Wow.
We've got it
Are you going to
reserved.
tell us who the speaker is? Who's the speaker?
We don't have the speaker selected yet, but we will be
there
at the
you
top
go.
of the Space Needle. We will have our reserved space. We'll have a view of the beautiful city and the sound, and thanks to domain sponsor and donuts.co for stepping up and sponsoring the event, 2 local Seattleite companies. Thank you for that.
I'll come.
Please do. Adam said he was coming. You guys are invited.
I
You're
am
gonna be my
coming.
guest.
I'm coming.
All right. If you receive benefit from today's show, please post a comment below. Thank today's Sherpas. If you can think of a way to improve the show, send me an email at michael@DomainSherpa.com. Thanks to Albert, Yemenium, and Chris Top for submitting their portfolios for review. Thanks to NameJet for submitting and sponsoring the NameJet section. And thanks again to the Domain Sherpas for sharing their experience and insights. Stay tuned for the after show coming up right now. Click on the link on the video below. We'll see you all next week.